punk used to suffer considerably because he had to spike his hair up. To be a punk, you've got to spike your hair up and use soap. And he used to put this soap in his hair and spike it all up. And the soap used to sort of run down into his eyes. His eyes were all red. And at the same time, having to wear the fart flap and the chains and all that stuff. And it would be a difficult thing to accommodate on the grounds if you're a punk. You've got to be fairly... part of the job description is to be fairly truculent and outside society, and that takes some negotiation on a day-to-day basis. I remember very vividly being at a meeting in the Oxford Road, a meeting about equality and the like, and my son was there as from the School Kids Against the Nazis with about 60, 70 people, and we got attacked by the National Front, which was a very, very unpleasant experience. We'd seen them in Slough, and we'd sent people from Reading to Slough because they used to bring what they called their honour guard, which was a very unpleasant group of very heavy-duty men who lined up in ranks, and the police would surround them and the police would surround us, and it was really very unpleasant. And they started to come to Reading, and there was a group of them in Reading, and that meeting, that night in the Oxford Road, they actually burst in through the door and started to try and attack. But there was a fight took place. 20 minutes afterwards, a policeman arrived on a bike and said, I hear there's been some trouble here. But it certainly was a very unpleasant experience, and the punks everybody sent them away, say, get out of here quick, because there's going to be trouble. But we certainly couldn't say, okay, we're going, you know, we had to stand, there, and indeed, friends of mine, we all picked up chairs and went back at them. We had to let them drive us out or let them close our meeting down would have been a terrible defeat, and one that we couldn't afford to allow. The real serious riots in London and in Reading, it was a hot summer, that probably was 79, and it was really hot, and in the evening everybody knew that in close by in London, in Slough and other places, there had been serious rioting would be the right word. And over there at the Central Club, there were guys on the roof, black guys on the roof of the Central Club, all sort of waiting for something to happen. And the same down here at the Trade Union Club in Minster Street and so on. The atmosphere in the town was really quite extraordinary. The university was involved with the kids quite a lot, and up at the university they used to put on music, and the sight of all these young people pogoing. You know pogoing? Is that that you're familiar with?
Do you know what pogo?
That was the punk dancing, was called pogoing, in which they jumped up and down at greater and greater heights. An exhausting process, I think. It's certainly, in my view, a lifestyle, as it were, a lifestyle of sectarian in political terms, but indeed an enclosed group of people who socialised together, saw themselves as being outside and opposed to much of authority, of society, and that was demonstrated in terms of dress, the type of dress. I mentioned the old spiked hair, but the chains and all that stuff, and in some cases the piercings and all the metal and all that sort of stuff. So very much creating a distance between the rest of the society and themselves.